Her real name is Rhoda Osmond. She claimed a man hit her with a brick because she wouldn't give him her number. She posted the video months ago and it went viral.
I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody. Literally, a man asked me for my number. I said no.
She ended up stacking up more than $42,000 on a GoFundMe with the story. Now it's called a total scam. Court records say Osmond called police reporting the incident, saying Orion Douglas was the man who hit her. But she changed her story multiple times, and police say they got security video of the incident that showed Osmond hitting Douglas, then Douglas hitting her back, saying the video didn't match Osmond's claims. The document goes on to say this isn't Osmond's first scam, saying in 2020 she made a GoFundMe claiming a man hit her in Minneapolis. But police there say there's no record of her being assaulted. Osmond is now charged with theft by deception.
That was the first time you had ever met her?
Yeah. Now, Douglas is telling his side of the story. He came into the studio and sat down with me for Fox 26 Crime Files this week.
Like you said, the security video, according to the court records, does indicate that you hit her.
Yeah.
And I know that many people will think, was there another way to diffuse that situation? Like, what do you have to say about that?
I really try to defend her from hitting me again because she was continuously hitting me. I never like to consider myself a victim, but you know, it seems like my character has been slandered.
Now, you guys are probably wondering, why did she just hop on camera and she has her business or PO like right on the screen? Like, what is that supposed to mean? It's supposed to mean that all of y'all that were sitting here calling me out of my name, all of you guys that were sitting here calling me a mammy, saying that I was wrong, saying I need to apologize, saying that this lady needs to sue me and other creators for defamation, need to send us all an apology right now, because now your queen has been charged, convicted, and is locked up. So I want my apologies expeditiously. Preferably, I'd like something off my Amazon wish list. Link down below. What up, everybody? I am the Mademoiselle, and this is my channel. And as you guys can tell by the title, as well as the intro, we're going to be talking about Rhoda Brick Osmond, as I like to call her, or what many of you guys know as Brickgate. I've been following the story since it first debuted in 2023, and my, oh my, am I so relieved that this lady has been charged. Now, before you even sit there, you comment like, oh, why are we happy that, you know, like she actually did get hit by a man and, you know, like she got caught up for it. I'm happy because y'all sat there and said that we was wrong, but in actuality, we were right. And most importantly, there is a scammer off the streets. I do not care if you're black, white, pink, green, or whatever. I'm never going to sit there and advocate for anyone running scams. I cannot stand a scammer. And one thing I really hate is a scammer that panders to the black community and blatantly lies to get a point across. If you guys are not familiar with the story, I'm going to give you guys a quick preface, but this story is deeper than whatever it is that I'm going to tell you. Like, it just kept going on and on and on and on. So feel free to watch my other videos that I did on the situation that are going to be linked down below. Back in 2023, Rhoda Osmond came online to say that she was attacked by a black man with a brick. Now, obviously, most people saw this story and they instantly felt bad for her, especially because she was a black woman that claims that a black man attacked her. But to add insult to injury, she also said there were loads of black men there who did nothing for her. This sparked huge debate and huge dialogue about black men and black women, and further feuded the gender war that we all talk about on a consistent basis. You had black men saying they don't protect people they don't know, especially women they don't know, because we are so independent. Then you had black women sitting there like, this is why we don't trust black men. Look at who's supposed to protect us, and they're sitting here doing nothing. They let this lady get attacked. It was literally a shit show. It was later on that one of the alleged men came out and said that they were actually there and they didn't care to help her because she's always causing trouble, etc., etc. And obviously it came out that that was a bold-faced lie. He was nowhere in the scene. His ex came and basically like outed him and said like he's a liar and he's just trying to get clout. However, part of what he said ended up being somewhat true. After that, a lot of people started digging into the story. They saw that there were no official police reports. There was no official medical documents. But then later on, Rhoda did end up posting them. Later on, they figured out, this is what Rhoda does. She's had a history of getting attacked by men and then coming on the internet and saying that, you know, she's not protected. Look at what this black man did to me, etc. And then collecting money behind it. In this recent stunt, she amassed over $42,000 on GoFundMe. However, GoFundMe thought that the situation was suspicious and they did not release the funds to her. However, since she did collect the funds under false pretenses, the state ended up charging her with felony theft by deception. From what I understand, I think eventually she did receive the funds. Don't quote me if I'm wrong. Like, I'm going to try to find information and either put it in this video or link it down below on if she actually received the funds or not. But the fact of the matter is she collected those funds under false pretenses and you cannot do that. Keep up, keep up, keep up. Now, to be quite honest with you, I didn't know how this was gonna go. I was like, man, she's probably gonna get a slap on the wrist. She probably gonna get off easy, but
well, she went on to collect $42,000 through a GoFundMe campaign she started after that. Well, a Harris County jury found her guilty of theft. She has to spend 90 days in jail, 10 years probation. She has to pay restitution, 10 years of no social media, which is big for her brand.
I already went through all the truths and the falses in the previous video that I did about the situation. So please head down in the link in the description and or the pinned comment to check on that. But I will say that this situation was ridiculous. And now that I look back at it and it's been 2 years later, she's been charged and she's been sentenced. It's just like, I genuinely don't believe how anyone even believed it for a second. Like, I believed it for like a day or so until I started really thinking. And I'm like, how do you get hit in the face with a brick? And the first thing you do is pull out your camera and start recording and talking about how nobody helped you. If you got hit in the face with a brick, more than likely you'd be knocked out. You'd have bruises. You've had scratches. Like, you would probably be incapacitated. Now, a lot of people have had so many different theories of what actually happened. For me, I always thought she definitely got beat up by someone. May have been a woman, may have been a man. However, I know for a fact she did not get hit with a brick, and I stood on that. And a lot of people did not like that I had that opinion. A lot of people were really upset that I was saying that because she's a black woman. This is why I'm not part of the believe all women trope. Point blank period. I don't care. I believe people who tell the truth, and I believe people who I personally believe to be telling the truth. I'm not just going to believe someone who says something just because they're a woman because of shit like this. This was a pretty believable case until you dug into it. You saw her character, and you saw that this was just something that she just does. Now, interestingly enough, the man that she got in the fight with, Orion Douglas, came out and did an interview with another YouTuber. I'm going to link the full interview down below, which he did admit to hitting her with a water bottle. But the story is a little bit longer. From what I understand and what I gather from the story, just in case you guys don't want to go watch the whole interview, long story short, they was out on the club scene. She pulls up to the section and she's like, oh, I ain't about to sit in this section with all these girls here. So he's like, I guess you're not sitting down then. Night goes on. Everybody's club hopping. I'm guessing him and her were also club hopping. Fast forward, he leaves the club. She ends up in his vicinity. She's twerking on him, etc. Some way, somehow, they end up getting into a fight. Mutual combat. Now, personally, I feel like he is leaving details out because why is she attacking you? Why is she fighting you for absolutely no reason? However, judging by the fact that she was ordered to get mental health care, I genuinely think there's something going on up there. Legit. She was also ordered to receive mental health care. So that just goes to show there was something not right upstairs because she was doing too much. And someone has a history of consistently doing this needs to probably be committed to an insane asylum. I don't think she should be locked up. I think she should be in a medical ward. But at the same time, I don't think she's insane. So, I mean, I guess jail makes sense. She did commit a crime knowingly, willingly, and has done it multiple times. I don't know to this day what type of water bottle it was. It didn't seem like he disclosed what type of water bottle it was. But nonetheless, he hits her in the face with this water bottle. She falls to the ground, gets back up, continues to try to fight him. And whatever. Some way, somehow, she ends up walking down the street, sees a group of men, and is like, hey, Like, this man just attacked me and y'all ain't do nothing about it. And from what Orion says, he says, like, no, like, actually, like, she had to walk a good distance to do that. So to be honest with you, when you really think about the circumstances of what he said, again, go and watch the interview because there's more to it. Like, yeah, it does give that this was planned or this is something that is muscle memory to her. Fact aside that Orion definitely said that he hit her in the face with a water bottle, we cannot deviate from the fact that she took the fact that she got hit in the face during mutual combat with a water bottle and turned it into, I got hit in the face with a brick by a black man. And I've actually been having this discourse a lot with a lot of people, and it's crazy because I feel like the whole gender war that we have in the Black community is just ridiculous. But I really can't stand when stories like this come out and make it worse, because this didn't need to be what it was. This didn't have to be that big of a deal. It didn't have to be that big of a situation, but it ended up being that big of a situation because this woman seems to be one of those radical feminazis that seems to like relish in this type of attention and does not like Black men whatsoever. And that's what I get from a lot of Black women these days. They don't like Black men whatsoever. But if that's the case, if you don't like Black men, stay away from them. If you don't like Black women, stay away from them. The whole idea of sitting here bashing each other, doing the most, sitting here like calling each other names, making up lies, pulling scams out the wazoo is just extra. Because what it really shows is that you love that person. Okay, it shows that you love them more than you're leading on. You love Black men if you're sitting here talking about them all day. You're on videos talking shit about them all day. You're on podcasts. You're whatever talking shit about them all day. You love Black women if all you can do is talk shit about how ghetto we are, how dirty we are, how stupid we are, how white women are better. Because when I genuinely don't like something, I just disengage. I don't engage with it. But for whatever reason, Black men and Black women have to drag each other all day, and it's sick. Okay, it's absolutely sick. Shout outs to the Black men and the Black women that respect each other, that love each other, and see all of us as individuals. We are not a monolith. Yes, at the end of the day, some stereotypes do have some truth to them. And at the end of the day, a lot of us play into certain things that a lot of people like or don't like. Because I always believe if you're going to take a compliment about Black women or Black men as a Black woman or a Black man, you have to also accept some of the stereotypes, because at the end of the day, there are certain characteristics that make us us and make them. But at the same time, if you're gonna hate, stay over there. Everybody needs to heal, okay? Because if everyone was in the process of healing, if everyone did the inner work, if everyone actually cared to assess why they don't like a certain group of people, we wouldn't have situations where people can fuel gender wars, but most importantly, profit off of them and pocket thousands of dollars. For those of you guys who are going to comment like, oh, what about the article that was written? At the time, if you guys do not remember, there was an NBC article that was written about the story. And for whatever reason, people took it as news. That is not news. With someone that graduated with an English communications broadcast journalism degree with a master's in PR, I can tell you right now, that is what you call an opinion piece. That is what you call an essay. It is not news. As a matter of fact, most of the local news people at the time were not able to gather enough facts to write a legitimate article about the situation because everything was so shaky. Again, the police reports, the medical reports, like everything was so shaky and no one wanted to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Whoever it was that wrote that article, I guess, felt some type of way about her, resonated with her story, wanted to be one of the first ones out, so she did that interview piece with her. Again, remember, an essay or an opinion piece is not news. It does not count. Additionally, remember that in order to have an accurate news piece, you have to have all the facts. And most news derives from legitimate facts, police paperwork, hospital paperwork, things that are public record. People were literally eating me alive talking about, oh, well, no, like not everything could be achieved by public record. Are you guys fucking dumb? If you want to right now, you can go and look up any case and you will find the information unless it gets sealed. However, at the time, it was an active investigation. Anyone could have called. Anyone could have found out the information about this case because, well, quite frankly, there was barely any. But for the most part, you can do that. There's literally an act. Okay, there's literally an act in which you can call and retain information. How do you guys think that these jail calls be getting leaked? You can literally go look it up and then you can leak it yourself. Like anybody that is locked up right now, anybody that has an active case, you can look it up. You can look up people's eviction cases. You can look up everything. All right, like it's genuinely crazy how a lot of people don't know that, and that's also part of the problem. A lot of people are operating off of ignorance, okay? And I'm not talking about just pertaining to this story in a general sense. We have so many things at our fingertips all the time. We got AI, we got Google, we got all of this. And for whatever reason, we refuse to just look things up. All you got to do is go in the search bar and say, is this accurate? Is this true? Find me documents on whatever, and it will lead you in the right direction. However, instead, we choose to flap our fucking gums and type with our freaking ninja fingers and act like we can't find information ourselves. Whether it's me, someone else, or anyone in your life telling you something or trying to get you to believe something or not giving you facts of a case, make sure you look it up. Because one thing about me, I always got my sources, okay? My sources are almost always linked down below in every single video for a reason. I want you guys to make an informed decision about the things that you emotionally invest in. I want you guys to make an informed decision about everything in your life. Do not just take my word for it when it comes to things. I can be wrong. And even in the previous video that I did about this situation, I had to come back and be like, oh, well, a lot of people were saying that she injected herself with saline. I may have perpetuated this as well as the whole allergic reaction situation. So I apologized for it. Even though I wasn't sure if that's really what I said, I was like, you know what? Just in case, let me cover my bases. I apologize. I took accountability. Now it's time for y'all to take accountability because y'all platformed a scammer, a liar, a grifter, and somebody that exhibits a fuck ton of self-hatred. Happy she's not allowed to be on social media for the next 10 years. That was literally probably the best punishment they could have gave her because she was running all her grifts and all her scams on social media and people kept believing her bullshit because to an extent it was somewhat believable. So just to recap, she was never hit in the face with a brick. She was hit in the face with a water bottle. However, if we're being for real, how do we know if that's how she got that shit on her face? Because realistically, a water bottle not going to do that unless it's titanium. Unless he hit her with a Stanley cup. Like, I don't get it. So she could have came out with that situation on her face anyway and then got upset that he hit her and was like, you know what? He attacked me. Look at my face. Da-da-da-da. There goes the scam. Okay? Also, she went to court. Yes, she was charged. Yes, she was sentenced. So we're not going to see her at least for the next 10 months. But for the next 10 years, she is not allowed to be on the internet. And I'm happy. I find it interesting how whatever money she received from the public, she sat here and wasted it. Trips, luxuries, and non-necessities. And it's like, you guys are probably like, Yvana, how you know that? Because I was following her the entire time. Yeah, I followed her for the past 3 years, and I was watching her waste her money, be a feminazi advocate, talk about all this shit. She was trying to be a figure real bad. She was really trying to be a leader to y'all. And it's like, we can't just let any and everyone be leaders. Okay, we just can't. Use your due diligence. Most importantly, use your common sense when assessing a viral story, especially one such as this. One thing I will say I don't like is how I don't see many people covering this because a lot of people was loud and fucking wrong. But they were calling me loud and wrong. I want to see those response videos. Run it. Run it. Get on your live. Get on the camera right now. Run it. Run it. Run it. Run it. Okay? All y'all little publications, write that little article. Use AI to write it, whatever. Y'all not talking about that shit enough. Mfini. With that being said, comment a brick down below if you don't have nothing else to comment. But if you do have something to comment, I would love to hear your opinions down below. But most importantly, I do want to hear my apologies because y'all had me fucked up a few years ago trying to call me all sorts of names. And I want all these creators that was out here backing her to come out and make a video too. And I know y'all watching this shit. With that being said, if you guys are not aware or you haven't been here before, we are going to Brazil July 2026. If this is something you're interested in, info is going to be linked down below. Yes, there are payment plans available. I do have multiple channels. Again, everything is going to be linked down below. Without further ado, I'm going to see y'all next time. Bye!